Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of A Contagious Smile Unstoppable. Got a little surprise for you. You might recognize this really sweet gentleman on this video with me today. People know him, everybody loves him. It's Antonio Sabata Jr. Hi, my friend, how are you?
How you doing? Very well. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. Thank you for finding the time. I appreciate it. I've
Absolutely.
I've spoken with Antonio before going on, and I have to tell you, he is just the light. He's a light. He has such a great message in his heart. I would love for him to kind of just take a moment and tell you what this message is and the feeling of what he is trying to empower and embrace right now. It's so amazing, and we want to help any way that we can.
Thank you for having me. Just my life right now, I got to tell you, God is working amazing, amazing stuff. It's kind of like you talking to your father your entire life about things you want to do, things you don't want to do, and all your worries about what kind of life you want to have in the future. And then all of a sudden, when you're going through it and you feel like everything is coming to an end, he's giving you all those things at once. So it's quite amazing to see because you don't see it while you're going through it, and then you realize that he gives you everything and some. So it's a blessing to know the Lord the way I know the Lord, and I'm sure the way you know the Lord. And it's a personal relationship. That's why, for most of the times when I do things, let's say on TikTok or when I do things for the fans, I don't share my commitment and my relationship with Christ because it's my personal relationship, and that should be for everyone. And of course, in a conversation with people and they ask you what is your faith, you can certainly talk about it and go into deep. But it's kind of like one of those relationships that I want to keep dear to me, and it's a very special one. So unless I decide to talk about it, I don't. There's certain places that Christ needs to be protected too, and I say it with a level of concerned because people use religion and they use God and Christ for their own benefits. They always seem to be praying for something, and I understand praying is something good, but there's always a catch. Pray for something that you want back to you. And my relationship with him is much deeper. And it's, like I said, like my father, my entire life, and talking about personal things and then all of a sudden, like when that all happens, like it's happening right now in my life, there's a beautiful transition that's going on right now. And the transition is a complete transition. It's not, and I've transitioned before, but this is, 54 years old. This is probably my last chapter of transitioning into my life right now, which is it's beautiful. I'm back to a place in my career that is quite amazing. I haven't been to it in a long time. Very successful. My racing career is about to take off, which is incredible. I'm in my 50s and I've been wanting to race again for many years, and God has given me that opportunity. My physical, I'm in the best shape of my life, and God has given me everything to do things that people my age would never do. So and I tell people when you have that connection with the higher power, and they say anything is possible, it is actually it goes beyond anything is possible. It goes into the impossible happening. So I'm happy to talk to you about it because it's most people are so afraid and they don't think it's ever going to happen. But if you're open and truthful and honest with God, and you really truly are surrendering to His grace, everything literally changes overnight. And I know that for some people it's hard to believe, but it is true. And it's happening to me literally overnight. And I thank God every day, thank God every day that I'm in that opportunity and that transition to really witness the beauty of His grace. And through Christ, and my relationship with Christ is it's like for all those times that I was mad at Him and all those times that I was in that dark hole.
He never gave up on you.
No, He never did. He never did, and He continues to never happen. And so it makes you feel such more, you know, like your ego and your strength as a man and goes away because you feel that how could I have not liked my Lord and not be connected, and how did I put him down and how mad and all this stuff when he still gives me everything. And I still called them and I still called them these names and I always was mad and I was upset and he still gave it to me. So and he continues to give it to me. So it's an unconditional love that a father does, and the things he does and how he shows those things to me right now is amazing. He puts you back where you need to be, and he cleanses you, he cleans you, and he says he shakes you a little bit, shakes you a lot, and then he says, "Hey, keep on moving." And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I'm in a beautiful place right now.
Yes, and you deserve that. And it is a beautiful thing. I mean, so often, and like when we were talking on the phone yesterday, so often people look at me and I get that disgusting look. I mean, I've 80% of my body is scarred from the abuse
Mm,
and the stabbings and all of
mm.
that. And, I'm my amputee, and it's like, you know what? Everybody's like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, because I've been kept here for a reason. I'm here to help others. I get it.
Mm,
And so,
mm.
like, and one of the things that my daughter and I always do, we always dance. Like we dance the sillies out, we dance the fear out. We just dance it out. And it's like when you're talking about how you would just love to have a big room of people dancing, I was like, I'll be first. I'll be right there. I'm right there. And it's just because how are you unhappy when you're dancing, right? How can you be unhappy?
Oh, that's right. And that's why my God is pushing me to, I'm doing so many things, but it's so amazing because he knows I can do them all. People say, how many things I'm doing 100 things and I want to do 101. So it never stops, but I want to DJ. I want to DJ for thousands and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the middle of whatever, somewhere around this planet and just dance for 10, 12 hours. And just pure let it out, just dancing and laughing and smiling with the music that I want to play. It just gives me goosebumps because I think people need that. They need to have a place where they can just be free and be free to just live for a moment and let all that stuff that is just taking over their lives, that darkness that they carry every day, just let it out for once and never let it back in, and we need to do that. And God is calling me to do that through my TikTok lives and all this stuff. I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing these TikTok lives because I'm busy schedule, but I'm telling you, the people that I reach and how they get back to me and they tell me that that music, that vibe you're sending is helping me lose weight, is helping me get rid of this relationship, is helping me doing so many things, get rid of this job that I don't want. Like people are truly not happy at all nowadays. And we have so many things. We have technology, cars that can drive by themselves. We can get on a plane and travel all over the world. We can see things that we can never see before. And they're still complaining. And there's such an unhappiness for life, for people, for connections, for Christ, and even taking religion away, like just human beings just taking care of one another and saying, what is this life all about? What am I doing here? What's the point of like they don't love themselves, and there's this lack of love, of self-love that I see every day. People are just not loving themselves. They hate themselves and they hate their lives that they live, and they take it out on everybody else in small doses, big dose, like through the news and the media and everything. And I fell for it for many years too. We all fall for it, but I also was able to get out of it, and I see it from the outside in. And it's a really this as beautiful as this planet is, the society that we live and surrounded with are empty. They're
It's dark.
completely empty,
Yes. Yes.
and that emptiness is letting the devil win. And I tell people, don't you want to win every day? Don't you want to wake up in the morning and go, you know what, you dark side, you insecurities, disgusting thing that runs around in my blood every day, in my heart. I don't want you to win anymore. I don't want you to win anymore. And and I think we need to get to a place where we need to take pride and self-love and dignity with ourselves and go, I deserve better than this.
Right.
And and God says, well, won't you do something about it? You can do it on your own. Like I'm watching you. I give you everything you need. I'm your father. I give you. I mean, I killed my own son. I had my son die for you. It's what else do you want me to do, right?
Yes.
So, and you're still complaining because people are complaining about the things that they wish to have, the things they don't have, or the thing. And I tell people, when you leave a relationship, when you leave a place in your life, when you leave that job or whatever, what is it that puts you in that grief? What is it that really? And people say, well, I was so happy in that relationship. But were you happy? Or were you in a relationship that the other person allowed you to be yourself? So then you felt being like yourself, you were happy. It wasn't the other person that made you feel good. It was you being you that made yourself feel good.
Right.
And people forget that because they leave their relationship and go, I can't live without you. I can't live without this. I can't live without money or whatever it is. But it's not the money, it's not the material, it's not the person, it's not, and it's a beautiful thing to live to love someone and all that. But people are in relationships and commitments with the wrong things. Because when you love yourself and when you truly understand yourself and you give yourself pride to go, I'm the son, I'm the daughter of God, of the Almighty. He created me to be unique and individual. We're all individually built specifically. When you start thinking about that one, you're like, well, I'm happy and I'm in love with the person I'm with, but I also know that the person that I'm with loves me the same because I love myself. I care for me to live my life. And people are forgetting that. They're relying on everything else to keep them going instead of saying, God gave you everything you need. He gave you everything. You should be completely empowered with yourself and loving yourself because he gave you everything. He gave you the lungs, he gave you the sight, he gave you this, or he gave you the will. He give you even people that can't see. Look at you. Look what you're going through and the things and you're still going. So it's a beautiful thing to see what people can really do when they're truly connected with the love that God gave us. And so I share that with people, and they get out of their 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 slump, and they're like in mud. And when they get out and they start cleansing themselves, they you see these people who are truly so happy and kind all of a sudden. Like they're just amazing. Like it's all they're like this. And as soon as I play the music and I let them open up, they're like, I want more of this. I
Yeah.
want more of this. And these are people that, I stay sometimes 2 or 3 in the morning doing these things. I forget at the time and they have to go to work. And then the next time I see them on these lives, they're like, I didn't care about not sleeping. I didn't care. I just wanted to live. I'm like, that's it. You just wanted to live.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yes.
wanted to live and love life, and I love that. So my life is really dedicated, whether it's in my racing, my acting, movies, whatever, is to try to have people love themselves and have a smile. That is really a goal for me.
Yes, because I noticed that in your videos that you're doing is you're doing like I do peer-to-peer support where people can come on and I will talk to them. If I don't believe a bank accounts justify whether or not you get the help that you need. And so I will talk to people and counsel them and help them and
Yeah,
stays here with us, and that's the thing. It's like and it's the adults, Antonio, that are so much more negative than the kids because I'll be out
yeah,
somewhere and like I'll have a kid look at me and I'm like, oh, I'm Captain Hook's sister. And they think that's the coolest thing ever, right? Oh, I'm Captain Hook's sister. And that's really cool. But then you have adults that stare at me and they're like, oh my God, you have so many scars. And it's like, but they're reminders of how much I won. I won. I could live my life in toxicity and
mm,
negativity, or I could
yeah,
be happy with memories and laughter and love. Which one do
mm,
you want? Because this one's not going to have that much power over me ever again. Ever.
mm,
And that's how you need to be. And that's why like having that support and coming in, you can't talk to somebody because you don't have money or you just escaped a domestic situation or
yeah,
whatever the situation is. Oh, I can't see you unless you have insurance. Well, you don't have insurance. Or I
mm,
don't see you because you don't have money in the bank. I'll talk to you all day long and I'm not going to charge you because I believe it comes around full circle and that's
mm,
just how it works because I went through it alone and I don't want anybody else to. And that's what resonated me to you with your messaging because it's so authentic and real and so many people go out there and they just want to be heard for whatever it's self-suffice, but you're not. You're being selfless. You're being out there trying to bring smiles to the world and that's why I resonated to you and was like I need to help him however I can. And I love what
oh,
you're doing, and
thank,
I love the music, and I
thank you.
love the concept. Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me more about these wonderful messages as my service dog is trying to jump up in my lap. What all else you're doing besides these lovely TikToks that are making so many people
Yeah, I
laugh?
TikTok is just keeping me busy while I have a few hours of freedom actually. But my thing is is making really good films. And I've had the pleasure, the last two films I made were just amazing. We have Grace by Night, which is a powerful movie that everyone should watch. You can get it on Amazon Prime, you can get it on Tubi, and everyone who's seen it, they get it. They get it. And I'm so proud of this film, and I'm so proud that I had the chance to be in a film like this. Because as actors, you never know when you get to work on something this good.
What's
And
it
I
about?
had the movie's about a man who's broken, a man who's lost everything. He lost his son to suicide. He lost his family, his wife. He left broken. A man that had everything, his love for his son, and then on the other side of the road, the railroad tracks, there's a boy, a young teenager who's trying to survive in high school, trying to have dreams, and they connect. And between these two, they win. They win their lives back. They win the championship back in wrestling. It's a wrestling sports Rocky type of film,
I love
but
it.
it has it's hard. It's the movie that in Christian based films they write these films that are quite not good, and Christ deserves to have good movies. And Christ doesn't have to be in a box either. You can't, they want to put Christ in this box that says Christian faith based. And I was always against it because Christ is bigger than that. Christ doesn't belong in anywhere. He's everywhere. And I want people that practice Judaism or they're Muslims or whatever you want to call it to watch Grace by Night. I don't want any attachment to say, well, it's a Christian movie, so only Christians supposed to see it. Well, no, God is, and Jesus Christ is a lot bigger than that. He reaches everyone and anything at any time. So, not even in Hollywood, you can keep him away. So, I've always fought for making films that were powerful, but the marketing scheme, they always sell it as these Christian. And I was like, and I kept fighting and fighting. And I fought for One Nation Under God was an amazing film where you had a young boy who's dealing with having Christ in high school. An amazing film that I had the chance to be in, and people should see that. Then I went into Grace by Night, which is goes into deeper relationship with Christ in ways that I never even like in a film you never see, especially with addiction and all kinds of dark things that happen that Christians don't want to talk about, and like the things you went through. Okay, and the movie that's coming out next, which is 426, which is a deeper 420 Ephesians 426, which is about a couple who's dealing with a miscarriage. The devil took their child away, and then dealing with their spirit being taken over as a marriage, as a couple, as a couple under Christ. So with demons and stuff. So he put me in these films that are so powerful, but the forces of Hollywood has always restricted these films to be lower than what they are. And then you have a leading man like myself who wants to PR these films, who wants to showcase these films all over the world. But then you're dealing with these companies and distribution companies that just want to give these movies just a little thing here and a little thing there. And we win all the Christian and all these movies, not 426 yet because it's not out, but all the other ones, I won all the awards. Best actor in a Christian movie, festival, blah, 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 best picture, best this, best that. But what does that do for the film, and what does that do for the relationship with Christ? Absolutely nothing. So I try to keep pushing these films because, like for example, Grace by Night should be seen, should be, I mean, not forced, but should be allowed to be seen in every high school around our country right now. Right now, they should see it. Every kid and every teenager should watch that movie and understand what really goes on in the spirit of how what they're missing, and they should see that for the rest of the public school system. That's how bad do I feel about this because it's a movie that is needed, and you should see it, and you should have all the audience to see this. You can get it; it's cheap to rent, whatever. But once you see it, it's going to open your heart to something else. And I'm pushing to have that in Hollywood, where we're making movies about passion, about relationship with the higher power, relationship with Christ that are not put in the box, that are for everyone, that have good scripts, that are performed just like all these studio movies. 426 is a studio movie, but they put the Christian thing. And I told the producer, and they're following me so far. They understand. Don't put don't put Jesus there. Don't put Christianity there. Don't sell the movie using Christ. He doesn't want you to do that. Have everyone see it. And then when you see it, you open up the doors for everybody. Christ didn't go into the temple and go, hey, I'm the Son of God, baby. I got it under control.
Right.
No, he came as a man saying, this is what we got to do, and we're going to do it. And they were like, no, you can't. You're not a God. Well, I know more than you, blah, 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 and this and that. Picked up the tables and threw everything there because he got mad. That's what we need to do as Christians. We can't just come in and go, oh, here's the cross. I'm wearing the cross. I'm a Christ follower. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not a Christ follower because you're wearing a cross. You got to live it. You got to push it. And also, don't be walking around like you walk around when I see people having Christ in them and you know they're followers, they don't have to say anything.
That's right.
They walk in with so much charisma and self-worth and happiness, really good happiness that you know they're Christians.
Yeah.
Like you don't even talk about it. And they don't even say anything.
You don't have to.
They don't have to.
Right.
And that's what these movies I'm trying to do are going to be, and they are going because even when 426 did, Grace by Night did not come out in the theaters, I kept pushing it and I took it to another level, and it's probably one of the most watched like Christian movies right there on Prime right now because I'm sending people over to watch it because it's much needed. So I'm fighting for that because I want to make movies. I want to continue to make movies like this, and I want to proclaim the word, but I also want to be able to get to Hollywood and get to all those crack and dark places that nobody wants to go and showcase these movies and go, listen, I don't want you to read the Bible by the time you're done with this film. This is not what it's about.
Right.
But after you're done watching it, how do you feel? How do you feel now? What is going on inside you? I'm more interested in that. I'm not interested in slapping the Bible into going, oh, I'm a preacher down. I want you in church. The church, we are the church. People forget that I don't have to go to church every Sunday to be with my pastor or this. I got the church in me
I say
24
that
hours.
all the time. I say that all the time.
All these churches and all these things. California had the biggest churches in the world, the biggest pastors in the world with thousands of people. Where are they now? And then when Christ really needs you, where are you now?
Right.
Are you really reaching those crowds? Are you really going to those places? Are you really going and making those movies that are going to open the real stuff? Because all these Christian movies that they make, they have to write them perfectly. Christian people are perfect. They don't make. No, we're not. We're not.
We're not. Right.
We're dirty. We're
Right.
nasty.
Yeah.
That's what God cleans us every time because we keep make we're far from being perfect. And like I said, I want movies that proclaim the word and proclaim Jesus and the life of Jesus to be great scripts that go to the Academy Awards, that go to these places that are well shot, that are just like every other film that we see that people go and eat popcorn at because so far all these Christian movies don't go they go absolutely nowhere. Like I have to be a Christian to watch them. Why? So
Shouldn't have to be, right? I know
no,
people say
no,
that.
no, no. And that's how we get people to follow Christ by doing it because they do it on their own. I follow Christ my whole life, not because, and I was born in Rome, Italy, where we have churches. I could have been a Catholic and all that stuff, but I found Christ because he found me in my personal life. I didn't have to go to church I went to Catholic schools. I could care less. You know what I mean? All the churches, the biggest churches, St. Peter's, everywhere. I got them next door to my house. But the relationship that I have with Christ is deeper than that. So I tell people it's not the church. The church is in you. You are the church. You are the walking body of the church. So it's a beautiful time. It really is. And all these things are happening, and God is making all this stuff happen. And then my personal life is going to another level too. And I just feel good. And my kids and my family, they know, they see it. And I'm glad that we went through the storm and now we're making it on the other side. We're swimming across the river and we're going to make it to the other side. And we never stopped. We never drowned. We almost did, but we never drowned.
You
So
never did. And you never gave up, which is so important. That is
no,
the most important
no.
part of it. We talked a little bit off air about like my memoir, Who Kicked First. I'll tell you off air, but it was put in the hands of a Hollywood producer. And I was given third person feedback about it, saying it's too Christian in regard to the fact that like a lot of people have never heard. I did a giving back service. I don't know if you know what that is. After my daughter's decannulation, I wanted to thank Christ for keeping my daughter here, keeping me here. And so we had the chaplain from the hospital who was basically in our room every day because she was coding every day come in and we did a giving back service where we promised to live our life through Christ and serve him and be thankful for him being our father and savior and we are his children and servant and to forgive us because we are human and we do commit sin, but it's not, on that level that we're trying to do. We try to do everything the right way and serve him and speak his word. And the giving back service was a very beautiful, beautiful event. It was done in the hospital, in the pediatric ICU bed with my daughter and I after she had her trach removed. And
Mm,
that's a very big part of my Who Kicked First. And they were, the third party person was like, would you remove this? And I was like, no.
mm,
And it was, well, it's always in here that you are here because of God, that you are here because of Christ, because you are here because you put your faith in there. Like my daughter's name is Faith. I'm not changing that. Like,
mm.
and it's, oh, well,
Beautiful, man.
her middle name is Rain, and it's because when the impurities of life are dying, rain comes down from above and it washes away the impurities of life and beauty comes back. And that's what she gave me. So she's my Rain.
And
And
also, rain gives roots.
right. And so I said, I'm not taking that out. And it was, well,
No.
you always talk about like you were given a 2% chance to survive, and you said it's better than one, let's go. And
Well,
that's because of my faith. It's because of my religion.
mhm,
I don't push it on anybody, but I'm not going to have somebody here tell me that this isn't okay because you don't like what's up there. Then
mhm.
you know what? Somebody will like it. And if they don't, that's okay too.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
mentality about
That's
it.
beautiful.
And
Yeah,
I,
of
I
course.
love that. I would love for it to be a Christian movie, but I'm not going to be told by a Hollywood person, third party out, you know, would you consider removing that? No, no,
Hmm.
not an
Yeah,
option. It's not even
good
up
for
for
you.
discussion.
Absolutely. And you got to do that all the time, it
Yes.
seems, with little things and big things, which is a shame. But that's the world we live in, and we gotta keep our head above the water and above these people too, because they in the loneliness that we see in the world and the lack of Christ in the world of these people just pushing that, we have to get inside that mix and go, hold on, slow down. Maybe it was a little bit of our fault. Okay, maybe we did it the wrong way. Let's sit around and figure this out because we want you to be happy. And I think if you just listen to us and open up to the idea that there is a better life, then maybe you can do it on your own. I think Christians have failed in pushing this lifestyle of being the perfect Christian, the perfect this, the perfect that. You go to church, everything works out. Instead of talking about it in a perspective of like, we as Christians are broken. We've been broken. That's why we are clean now. That's why we found Christ, is because we were broken.
Right.
Because those moments of darkness that led us to Christ.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, and we need to talk about those moments. We need to talk about how we were able and how Christ worked in us. And so, and I think we need to keep doing it. I want to keep making movies where people are just, it just happens. You see the light and you get this, like you said, the rain just washes over and you're like, oh, I'm clean all of a sudden. How fast was that? It was 2 seconds. That's how God works. If you open and honest and you let him in, he's going to clean you. He's going to give you everything you want and clean you very well. Like before you even blink. And I tell people miracles are happening all the time. It's just we don't see them because you don't want to see them.
Right. You have
But
on blinders. You're just tunnel vision.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they're there. They're beautiful, beautiful miracles that happen all the time. And so, it's just to be open and open your eyes to the full picture, is stepping away from the trees and seeing the whole forest, and it's beautiful because when you're close to the tree and you're really nose to the tree, you can't see anything. You just see brown in front of you. And when you step, you see trees, you see leaves, you see animals, you see birds, you see the sky,
Nice.
you see the full picture of everything that you were missing because you were so into trying to make it through the tree that you forgot that maybe you stepping backwards and seeing and breathing again could lead you to a better life. And I see it all the time. So if I'm going through it, and I know you're doing the same thing, and you went through the darkness and now you're not there, let's share it with everybody else and see if we can get them to where we are now, because it's beautiful to see.
It is beautiful to see. I tell people, go outside and stand out there in the rain and just put your head up and let the rain wash your face. I mean, what a feeling that is. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
so refreshing,
Yeah.
people cut you off on the way home and that's it, your day is ruined. Well, 4 years ago I had both hands. 4 years ago, all my surgeries failed and they said we got to take it. And I was like, how am I going to hold my daughter's hand? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And then I'm like, I got three more limbs. I still
Mm.
could do this. And you know what? I'm still here. So let's go. Let's just do it. Let's go. It's got to be done. Let's do it. And you have that mentality and I tell my daughter, let's put a smile on somebody's face every single day. And my daughter is special needs and she's had 54 surgeries.
Yeah.
She basically doesn't have a tongue, but she talks.
Mm.
They did a
Mm.
story about her and she got an Emmy for it. And
Mm.
she is so full of light and love. She'll go to kids' hospitals and say, I just had a surgery. You're going to be great. You're going to be fine. And
Mm.
I've taught her to use other words because she can't say need because your tongue touches the roof of your mouth.
Well, I
So
need.
she'll say, I want. And, so sometimes people are like, why would you say I want instead of need? Because the sentence doesn't make like grammatical sense. But then you learn and you see and you understand. And she brings just a light and sunshine around you. And everybody's like, oh my
Oh,
God, how can I be upset about such stupid stuff? Somebody cut me off. So what? What if they just lost their husband? What if they just lost their best friend? Don't just
yeah.
imagine and say, okay, they've got road rage. This world is so dark. I heard before coming on with you that a preschooler took a gun to school today. A
Mm.
preschooler. Are
Hmm.
we kidding? Like, and when we were in school, we had to worry about who was getting on the swing set, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is that we are allowed, the world is allowing all the stuff to be seen for everyone at a pace that we've never seen before. The darkest things are coming across our young souls on a
Yes.
daily basis, and all that information throughout the day, 24 hours of negativity is allowing the brain to be brainwashed and to be darkened with so much evil that it's if you don't have an escape, if you don't have a cleansing mechanism that you can go to and wash yourself on a daily basis, you're going to be infested. And that's why people are the way they are. That's why we live in the world where it's okay to see negative. I don't particularly, I don't watch the news anymore. I used to watch, I ran for Congress 10 years ago. It was a different time. I wanted to fight for my country, which I love, and I will always love my country. So instead of being one of those actors on the sideline, like Garofalo and all these other losers, and they talk and they point the finger. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump in and get in to learn about the political world and go to Washington D.C. and run a campaign, and I did, and I won my primary. I'm glad I didn't win the whole thing because I don't want to be in that. God has bigger stuff for me. So but what I did learn is how the system works for both parties and how the media works for both parties and how much money they both make from all the media and everything else and all this negative stuff. And the people are the last one to receive any kind of help. So I don't watch politics. I got nothing to do with either party. I'll vote for who I want and I keep that to myself when the time happens to be an American. But I don't watch the news. I have no affiliations with anybody because it's all the same scheme. It's all the same. It's just the same party, and they all complain about different stuff, but they're all complaining about the same things. And I'm glad I learned. I'm glad that God put me in there, and I met them all. I know them all, and they're demons. He let me see all the demons in real time,
What an eye
and
experience.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they couldn't touch me. They couldn't touch me, and they were true dark demons in the ways that like the movies, and that's real. It's real. And but God is as something better for me and lined up for me in ways that I couldn't even imagine. But I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I have the knowledge, the wisdom to see how the system, the political system works all over the place. And I tell people don't even watch it, but because you're watching something you'll never fix. You're watching something that is not purifying you.
Yeah.
You're watching something that gives you some information, but with that information, you do what? You argue with people about it, or you talk to people about it, and sooner or later it will be an argument. And then ultimately you'll be mad at yourself for things that are happening on that TV that you cannot do anything about, and you will never do anything. Well, I can vote. No, well, it doesn't mean anything. So it's a matter of like relying on the higher power, on God through Jesus Christ to make things happen because you cannot do anything except live the life that God wants you to live and to live a trustworthy with dignity and honor for the Lord and live a good and help people and be a loving, kind soul. Besides that, that's it. Don't get involved because we all have to be in our own lanes to succeed. And I tell people, the people that are succeeding and helping others are the ones who are living that life that everybody wants to have. Because with that life, you're like, oh, I want to hang out with that person. That person is smiling all the time. That person is kind all the time. So that's the life that I want to live. So then I can help people living that life if I can in the way I do. And then they find their own path. But everything else about, vote for me, do this, do that, no, no. I'm glad I got nothing to do with that anymore.
What was your epiphany that brought you to where you are here today?
Oh, just brokenness. I think just life, like I said, seeing the darkness that really hurts me. Trying so hard to achieve certain things that don't happen and asking God why they're not happening. And then they are happening. You know what I mean? And then you see it happening and you're like, oh my God, goodness, you had this all along. And that brings you even more closer and more tearful and more impassioned with God because you're like you were at the moment you were like for years going I don't want to follow you anymore I don't want I don't want nothing's happening but it is happening and you were happening and you were getting stronger and you didn't even see it and it's like you were getting so strong by the time you were so mad and giving up God you were able to be so strong you could pick up a house and go well wait a second I got a house on me and I'm like Superman right now. Who made me feel this way? Well, God did.
Yeah,
You see, you finally see it now, don't you? So it was an ultimate, the last, I think, decade of my life. It was an incredible roller coaster. And God pulled me out and put me right in the right place where I always wanted to be. So it, it's, I want people to feel that. I want people to go through that and to come out on the other side and to see the smile on their faces like we have here, the two of us here. And I want everyone to feel that. So if I can reach one out of a million or two out of a million or whatever and see that change, it's worth it.
absolutely. You have people just opening up to you on your TikTok and just telling you their woes and their happiness, their highs, their lows, and everything in between. And
Yeah.
that's gonna feel really great because when someone comes
Yeah.
to you and says, thank you, and that's just gotta
Yeah.
really
No,
resonate.
it is. It is because you see people being lost and just not having the guidance to say, your choices have not been your best choices. Make a different choice right now. Deal with it in a different type of commitment. Leave the habits away and try to use different habits and different ways to deal with it. And when they find that little things in there to say, oh, I can do it this way. Yeah, that doesn't feel. And I always tell everyone when, as I'm talking to them throughout the night or, when I go live with a lot of people is that if you're willing, if you make the choice of letting the anger, all that stuff that is slowing you down out of your body, you have to make a promise to yourself that you're not going to let it back in. You're closing the doors. And they go, well, you can't. See, you already said you can't. You already said that you cannot. So I push them to actually do it for the time that I'm there with them, for the hours that I'm there talking to them, to say, during this time, I want you to let it out in dancing and screaming. I don't want you to wake up your neighbors or create, but just be in a place where you can let that anger out.
Right.
And then for the time that we're talking, don't let it back in ever. Like it's not coming back in. Oh, my relationship was the worst. I don't want let it out and don't let it. And then by the time I'm done, I always ask them, so how do you feel? And they go, what do you mean? You didn't even talk about all those things anymore, did you? Because they never came back in, right? I said, you're right. They never came back in. I said, why didn't they come back in? Because I didn't allow them to come back in. It's like, okay, then let's do it tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow, you're not going to let them back in, right? Because they're out. It means you flushed them. You don't flush something and go back in the toilet and go, I want it back, right? It's
Right.
gone. It's gone. So to see that kind of, because we don't have time to waste, because we don't have years of this, life is precious, every moment. So if I can grab some of these souls and actually have a quicker change, they can live happier, longer. And that means a lot to me. So, and it takes the little switch that I've learned how to use that it seems to be working, and I see it in people, and I love it.
That's amazing. So people can find you on TikTok where you're doing
Yeah,
your lives. That's amazing.
yeah,
I would love to do TikTok live co-host with you. I think that would be amazing
yeah. Let's
out
do
there.
that.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
think
that.
it would be amazing. I want to thank you. I want to hope you'll come back on with me again.
Anytime, anytime.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. Hang on for just a second. Thank you for listening and watching, everybody. Go check him out live. He is as real as he is on us with us today. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless.